Next on News Channel 7 and 4 at 6.
Let it snow. Find out when some ski resorts plan to open. We'll have a live report.
More airstrikes against Iraq. We'll show you pictures.
6 major grants have been awarded to preserve special pieces of land here in northern Michigan. I'll have that story.
And a verdict in the Ricky Hoornstra murder case. News Channel 7 and 4 at 6 starts now.
WPBN, WTOM-TV, Traverse City, Cadillac, Sheboygan. Covering all of northern Michigan. Your only 24-hour news and weather source. This is News Channel 7 and 4 at 6.
The white on the ground means green in the pockets for some northern Michigan ski resorts. Good evening, I'm Dave Walker.
And I'm Palace Houpe. Leading our news tonight, it's beginning to look a lot like ski season. Our Chris Ty joins us live via Starcom 7 from Boyne Mountain, where they're working feverishly to get things up and running by this weekend. And Chris, it looks like the snow really came down up there.
It is, and it continues to, Palace. The snow that made many commutes a nightmare today is a dream come true for many ski resorts like Boyne Mountain. For the first time this year, the snow machines at Boyne Mountain are getting some help from Mother Nature, and they needed it.
Well, 24 hours ago, there was a lot of grass, and some of it was real green. And now, today, we've already seen 6 and 7 inches of snow.
By Saturday, Boyne hopes these slopes will be filled with skiers and snowboarders, and by Christmas, their first capacity day. But resorts like Boyne aren't alone. Retailers have been feeling the pinch from our mild weather, and some are banking on today's snowfall to turn things around.
We're down even, of course, as compared to last year and significantly from years past.
Ski resorts, merchants, and winter enthusiasts are eager to pounce on the powder, but they are relying on the weather gods to continue to cooperate.
I just had the cold temperatures. That satisfies us. And what we have coming down here is just icing on the cake.
And you know, at this point in a normal season, more than 10,000 skiers would have made their way down Boyne's trails. This year, not even one has done that. And for now, from Boyne Mountain, I'm Chris Ty, News Channel 7 and 4. Back to you in the studio.
Okay, Chris, thanks so much for that report. So is there more snow on the way? For that answer, we join Greg McMaster in the Forecast Center with first weather.
Well, there's a lot of snow moving into the area, but some changes are taking shape here. Let's take a look. Our temperature is cooling down easily into the mid to upper 20s. Our humidity staying fairly high. Winds out of the west-northwest at 7. That is still helping us in the lake effect snow, but there is no advisory in effect at this time. Regional Doppler radar does show scattered snow showers pretty much ending in the upper peninsula, but some heavier showers still developing across portions of northwest lower Michigan. So we'll see those scattered showers continue, and they'll become more isolated for the overnight hours. So expect cloudy skies, scattered lake effect snow showers, winds light and variable, and our temperatures dropping down to the low 20s, but there will be some areas hit with some heavier snow. Stay tuned and we'll tell you when and where.
All right, thanks, Greg. The United States and Britain unleash another round of bombs on Baghdad this afternoon. This afternoon's attack Eastern Time, it's night in Baghdad, on the Iraqi capital, appears to be much heavier than yesterday's first round. Anti-aircraft fire lit up the sky over Baghdad just minutes before American cruise missiles hit. Reporters have described more than a dozen huge explosions in the center of town and some outlying areas. The attack was timed to begin after the streets of Baghdad had emptied for the day in an effort to lower the risk of civilian casualties.
Now a mystery. An intruder at Traverse City Central High School who got into a scuffle with security guards dies a short time later. Police say 53-year-old Lyman Clark was looking inside cars in the parking lot Tuesday. School security guards say Clark got violent when they approached. They held him down until police arrived. When Clark was released, he told police he had a heart condition but felt okay. He walked away but collapsed minutes later. Autopsy results are not in.
In Cadillac, a verdict just over an hour ago in the Ricky Hoornstra murder trial. Our Som Lasias has been covering the trial. He joins us now from Cadillac, live via Starcom 4. And Som, tell us about the jury's decision.
Dave, in one of the most emotional cases you'll ever see, Ricky Hoornstra was found guilty today of murdering 87-year-old Leona Hagstrom. Now, it really came as no surprise to anyone that jurors found Hoornstra guilty, especially after what they heard this morning, when the accused killer took the stand and confessed. According to his family, Ricky Hoornstra wanted to take the stand today so that he could finally set the record straight. Today, he did just that.
You know, at the point where when I drink, I don't think before I act. I just do it off the impulse, wherever. Now, whatever happens, I just do it authentic about it.
Words that the jury took to heart today after less than 3 hours of deliberation.
As to count 1, open murder, what is your verdict? Our verdict is guilty of first-degree felony murder.
The news was simply too much for Hoornstra's family to bear. His mother and sister sobbed openly, while Hagstrom's family wept in relief.
It's been hard, but we just keep on thinking the good times we had with her, and they seem to help us a lot. Just remember that way.
In the 9 months of pain and agony since Grandma Hagstrom's death, others are just overwhelmed by today's decision.
Heal.
Can you rest it any easier now?
We gotta heal. At least it happened before Christmas, so that at least now our Christmas is a little happier because she can rest.
Yeah. I'd like to say.
Hopefully we won't be thinking of this every day, but like we have in the past. So hopefully we ease our minds.
Finally put it behind you. Now, one of the most memorable things I observed today was when Ricky Hoornstra's mother actually embraced one of Leona Hagstrom's children. Now, the Hagstrom family realizes, and as does the Hoornstra family, that Ricky Hoornstra is most definitely guilty of this crime. However, the Hoornstra family is not the ones who did it. And with this single embrace, you can see how the Hagstrom family hasn't forgotten about what happened. They're simply trying to move on. We're live in Cadillac. I'm Sol Messias. Dave, back to you.
So, quite an emotional day there in court. A lot going on. Thanks very much for your report.
An early Christmas gift today for a woman who's dedicated her life to helping others. Today, the Bill Marsh Auto Group donated this 1991 Buick Skylark to Janice Rote, seen here, founder and director of the Missing Children's Network of Michigan. Rote's car broke down last week, leaving her without transportation to meet with families who need her help.
I really believe that Bill is certainly a saint to, without a blink of an eye, want to help us and help the families. I don't have enough words to say thank you to him.
Bill Marsh, who donated the car, first met Rote a couple years ago when the auto group sponsored a conference on missing children. The history of the Grand Traverse region comes alive on a new multimedia program for your CD-ROM. News Channel 7 and 4's Adam Bartlemay gives us a preview of what could be a mini museum in your PC.
I think it's just a curiosity tool, something that will help visitors to the area and locals understand our cultural heritage, understand the history of our community.
The history of the Grand Traverse region is definitely rich, and now it's available on the CD-ROM. So now all you have to do to call up anything you want to know about the area, just put it in your computer.
One can run a video clip of some historic reenactments. You can pick pictures, any of 600 plus historic archive photos going back to the 1860s.
Of course, the Grand Traverse region's history is longer than that. And the new Grand Traverse History Comes Alive CD-ROM explores every nook and cranny of its heritage in a fun, interactive way.
There is sound, there's action on video, and just a real multimedia way to learn about the history of the area.
It took almost a year to put the new interactive program together. It's a joint project between the Land Information Access Association, the Con Foster Museum, and 20 ninth graders from Traverse City's East Junior High School. Those who put their blood, sweat, and tears into the project say they had fun doing it.
I feel like I've learned a tremendous amount about the area, and it's interesting when you start seeing names over again or names that you are familiar with because there's a street named then.
In Traverse City, Adam Bartlemay, News Channel 7 and 4.
The Grand Traverse History Comes Alive CD-ROM goes on sale tomorrow. All proceeds will be used to help fund the Con Foster Museum and the Grand Traverse Pioneer and Historical Society. It comes out just in time for Christmas.
Boy, I'll say. And hey, speaking of Christmas, I know you wanted the snow. It's a little chilly outside, but that doesn't stop some folks from fishing.
That's right. We're going to show you where some whitefish hotspots are next in our outdoor report. Also, 6 major grants are awarded to preserve environmentally sensitive land in northern Michigan. We'll show you where a little later.
Mike Avery's Outdoor Report is sponsored by Jay's Sporting Goods.
Well, of course, with the arrival of the snow, hooking a whitefish might be far from your mind today.
But for your die-hard fishermen out there, there's a certain part of Michigan where there's fish aplenty. Mike Avery takes us there in this week's Outdoor Report.
It used to be anglers on the lower Great Lakes didn't see many whitefish. Commercial fishermen caught their share out in deep water. but the fish were rare and close to shore. Now, though, that's changing.
Hey! I don't know about you, Harry. I ain't going home, son.
The whitefish action on Michigan's Lake Huron coast is the best anyone can remember.
For the last 6 or 7 years, we've had a positive fishery out here as far as the whitefish. This has been the most awesome year we've had.
These anglers are on the East Tawa State Dock, but this isn't the only place you can get whitefish.
The reason they're here, they spawn this time of year, and they're in here spawning next to this dock because the foundation of this dock's all rock. So just about any place, I think, in 10, 12 feet of water up and down the bay here, if you have some rock formation, you're definitely going to, acquire some fish.
And when the whitefish are in, it's standing room only for anglers.
It's the elbow to elbow, and there's only so much room out there on that dock to begin with, and that's the long and the short of it.
But the crowds don't seem to bother the fish.
It's fun. They are not hard to catch. You get one once in a while will give you a pretty good fight. I think the main thing is they're such a delectable fish to eat.
Whitefish are one of the Great Lakes' special fish. Many anglers will never catch one, and those who do only get a few short weeks in the fall to try their luck. But whitefishing is easy, and it's a lot of fun. For News Channel 7 and 4, this is Mike Avery.
You can catch this week's Outdoor Magazine on Saturday at 7 a.m. here on News Channel 7 and 4.
A Michigan Natural Resources Trust Fund grant of $890,000 will help save an environmentally special lakeshore in Benzie County. A development company which proposes building close to 100 homes at Pearl Lake will sell the land for $1.2 million. Dave Fortin tells us where the rest of the money is coming from and about some other projects being funded.
Shells for which Pearl Lake is named shimmer below the surface. Eagles, osprey, and other wildlife live here. The Regional Land Conservancy helped get the grant to buy the over 2,000 feet of shoreline.
And with the State Trust Fund grant, we realized that this is not just an area of local importance, it really is of statewide importance, which is why we received the grant.
The effort to preserve the land and protect the lake began with local residents over a year ago.
They've all worked very hard. They're continuing to work hard, and I'm looking forward to the day when this property is protected forever.
They still need $164,000.
Fundraising and the efforts in the past have been so overwhelmingly embraced by this community that it's so optimistic.
Other trust fund grants include $459,000 for additional land at Railroad Point on Crystal Lake in Benzie County, $400,000 for 300 acres near the Vasa Trail in Grand Traverse County, $220,000 for 160 acres on the Manistee River in Kalkaska County, almost $87,000 for additional wetlands at the Grass River Natural Area in Antrim County, and $75,000 for more beach on Mullet Lake in Sheboygan County. One of the most successful time periods for environmentalists here in northern Michigan in the past 5 or 6 years. Dave Fortin, News Channel 7 and 4.
The Natural Resources Trust Fund grants do not include tax money. The funding is from state oil and gas well royalties.
Some impressive numbers there. Still ahead on News Channel 7 and 4 at 6, a special holiday tradition is in the making in Traverse City.
And a little later, we'll show you the latest addition to the Elferdink project.
And lake effect snows will be moving in, and there are some changes taking place. I'll have the latest coming up in weather. But first, our fishing game forecast.
News Channel 7 and 4's weather segment is sponsored by Max's Service, where it's service that counts.
Well, it is snowing, which you wanted, but some parts of northern Michigan are getting a lot more snow than others.
That's right, and some are getting pretty slippery out there. We turn now to Greg McMaster for the forecast.
Well, with winter weather, we do have some beautiful things to look forward to, but inherently there are going to be some dangers, and here's one of them right here, slippery roads. Now, we did have some snow showers earlier this morning, and temperatures warmed up just above freezing, enough to pretty much melt the roads. Now, with the temperatures back down below freezing, once again, it's going to be very, very slippery, and this is a term I like to use. It's more or less called greasy snow. Very slippery, and it just pretty much moves around on the roads. It doesn't go anywhere else. So please be very careful. High today of 33, lows 21, or excuse me, 31. You can see our max and min then for today as well as average. We still are a bit above normal. Our low set back in 1926 of 3 below 0. And temperatures are cold enough to make snow, and the ski resorts are making tons of snow, so be prepared for some good skiing as we head in towards the Christmas holiday. Temperatures, everybody, again, below freezing. Cadillac, the cooler spot, 21 degrees. Humidity is starting to bump up a little bit. That means we have some very wet snow moving into the region. Winds now shifting to the northwest at 13 to 15 miles an hour, so the lake effect will start to shift a little bit as well. We'll get to that in just a moment. Regional Doppler radar shows most of the scattered showers still moving into the Great Lakes region. Northwest lower Michigan being hit pretty hard, and everything is starting to move to the south and southeast, and there's another system starting to move in. A little bit lighter, though. Again, that enhancement with the lake effect will provide ample snow as we head in towards the Christmas holiday. Now, we did have winds out of the northwest providing some of the scattered lake effect snow showers. Now they're coming more or less out of the north, so the areas that we're going to be specific in is going to be changing. Here's what we have in store for you now. Getting up to portions of Leelanau County, pretty much everything along the shoreline is going to be hit pretty hard with at least 2 to 4 more inches. Again, it's not going to be very far inland, and they'll also move all the way down into areas just north of Empire. Heading a little bit farther to the east, areas of Grand Traverse Bay, especially South Airport, Hammond, going a little bit farther southward, even as far south as Mayfield, could see at least a couple more inches of snow. And again, this snow is going to be very, very slippery. Heading farther to the northeast, areas of Norwood, Charlevoix County, again, is going to be hit hard. And some of these snows are still heavy enough to move into Boyne Falls, Boyne Highlands in that area, or Boyne Highlands, sorry, from Petoskey. Boyne Falls are going to be hit pretty hard as well. They can see isolated areas, at least 4 to 5 inches of snow. Other areas outside from that are going to be a little bit on the lighter side. Temperatures right now, everybody into the mid to upper 20s. Gaylord, the cooler spot, as well as Cadillac. Temperatures around the nation right now, they extend as far back as Minnesota and Wisconsin. Everybody else is above normal across the United States. So your forecast for tomorrow, scattered showers still dominating. We'll see winds out of the southeast. That'll help keep the lake effect snows to a minimum, and then we'll see another tropical pressure moving in. That'll help stir the atmosphere, and we'll see the lake effect snows return for late Saturday going into Sunday. Your overnight lows dropping down comfortably into the low to mid-20s, farther south, winds variable, and then for tomorrow we'll see winds shift to the southeast at 10, and our temperatures right around 30 to 32 degrees. Again, scattered showers are expected. Here's a look at your 5-day forecast, folks. We've got scattered showers in effect all the way for the next 5 days. Temperatures remaining steady in the upper 20s to low 30s, and it's going to be perfect white Christmas.
And yeah, I don't think you were watching, but Palace just gave the snow every day the two thumbs up. Yeah.
And a thank you to the weatherman.
You bet.
Thanks, Greg. The Tigers continue to build for the future. Just ahead on News Channel 7 and 4 at 6.
Detroit nails down one of its more consistent pitchers.
Tonight's sports is sponsored by your Northern Michigan Dodge dealer.
The Tigers continue to piece together their plan for the future. Today, the Tigers signed right-hander Brian Moeller to a 3-year contract. No terms of the deal were announced. Moeller was Detroit's most consistent starter last season with 14 victories and a 3.9 ERA, the 11th best in the American League. He also had 3 shutouts last season, the most for the Tigers since Jack Morris in 1986. The Tigers now have 9 players under contract through at least the year 2000, including Dean Palmer, Tony Clark, and Damian Easley. And the man who was behind the wheel the night Sergei Manatsakanov and Vladimir Konstantinov suffered severe head injuries when their limo crashed into a tree is back in jail tonight. Richard Gnida is being charged with failing to fulfill conditions of his probation stemming from the '97 accident, which has left both Manatsakanov and Konstantinov wheelchair-bound. An Oakland County prosecutor says Gnida has missed required Alcoholic Anonymous meetings and has failed to complete all of his court-ordered community service. Atlanta Falcons head coach Dan Reeves is in good condition tonight and should be released from the hospital tomorrow morning. Reeves, who underwent heart bypass surgery on Monday, will miss the rest of the regular season, but he is expected to be back with the Falcons for the playoffs. And just 4 days after being attacked on the sidelines by one of his players, Carolina assistant coach Kevin Steele is leaving the Panthers to become the new head coach at Baylor University. Steele, who announced his decision this morning, replaces Dave Roberts, who was fired earlier this month after posting a 2-9 record this year. It's day 170 of the NBA lockout. Yesterday, negotiations were back on the slow track, while Commissioner David Stern and Union Chief Billy Hunter spent time bickering over who should call whom and who actually called first the last time these two talked. At the moment, it looks like the earliest the season can start now is February, if at all. Meanwhile, the Buckley Bears are off to a red-hot start to the basketball season. The Bears are currently undefeated and have looked rather impressive. With several experienced players returning this season, the Bears are stocked full of potential.
Well, I hope our potential is great. Our talent is great. Let's hope we reach our potential. They're a hard-working bunch. It's nice to have the number back from last year that we do. This group knows how to work hard because they did last year, and we hope it's a tradition that continues to carry through this year and in years following.
Last year we got a taste of what it's like to go on a tournament run, and everybody who was there wants to get back where we were because we know how it feels, we know what it takes, and we're doing what we need to do.
And we'll see you tonight at 11.
Okay, thanks, Vic.
There's more ahead on News Channel 7 and 4 at 6.
Next, we take you to downtown Traverse City for a Christmas tradition. Here are some of the stories we're working on for tonight's 11 at 11. More reaction from people around northern Michigan to the attack on Saddam. We also talk with U.S. Senator Carl Levin about our mission in the Middle East. Plus, now that the snow is here, it's time for skiing. Tonight, we have tips that assure you a safe trip to the slopes on 11 at 11.
And finally tonight, a northern Michigan holiday tradition. Woodcarver John Schirmer of Iowa is back at the Candle Factory in Traverse City, continuing work on the Elferding project. This year he's completing the second panel of the planned triptych and adds supporting elements to previous figures. The present panel has a setting of the Leelanau County area in the 1870s, and this Christmas tradition has been observed each year since 1984. It's in its 14th year.
I'm going to have to stop by and look at that. It looks like an impressive piece of work.
It is pretty neat. Thanks very much for joining us. Remember, it's slippery. Watch it driving out there.
Stay safe. We'll see you tonight at 11.